Zino riararwadza. Azokwadi kutobiswa kuri nani zino riararwadza. Zviri nani kutovana mavende pane zino rine problem. Zino riaradzokirwadza izvo. Zino iri zino rinoda kubiswa iri arume. Tingamogara nezino iroro kusvika rini titotadza nokudya. Aiwa zino ngaribvei. Zino ratibaya iri. Aiwa zino rinorwadza vedu. Aiwa vanhu varwadziwa. Vese vari kurwadziwa nemazino rongora tiki aiwa zino rinorwadza. Kutoribisa kuri nani mbari kuchengera chinhu chinorwadza kudaro. Imi mavende ari nani. Pane kugara nezino risina basa. Rinorwadza rinoti shu. Zino ratinetsai. Aiwa zino razotinetsai. Ngatibisisei zino iri.
Bishop Maponda is in the house, and we are having a conversation with him for things that are extremely important. Bishop Joshua Maponda, let me ask you 3 questions which only require a yes or a no answer. Have you ever met Rutendo Matinar, the leader of the Zimbabwe anti-sanctions movement?
Yes.
Have you ever met the president of Zimbabwe, President E.D. Mnangagwa?
Yes.
Have you ever met the billionaire, Kuda Tagire, Elder Kuda Tagire?
Yes.
All right. Bishop Maponda, there are other people who have said to me today that even I, that is hosting you today, have been paid. Is it true? Have I been paid to host you today? And have I been paid to bring you up here to speak to our nation? Have I been paid to make this happen? Bishop Maponda, can you please speak to our audience? Have I been paid for this job?
No.
Thank you. Let us continue with our conversation. Bishop Joshua Maponda, you have talked about your journey from South Africa to Zimbabwe, Swaziland, and many other countries where you preached to the nations and spoke your word that people listened to you. I want to find out from you, in terms of the return also of Rutendo. I do know that you mentioned the fact that you have got no qualms whatsoever with regards to Rutendo responding to you, but you feel that today you need to speak uninterrupted to the Zimbabweans because these issues, you have considered them to be very, very important. However, you have said that at other times, we can arrange that you can be able to then now give him the right to respond to some of the things that you are going to say here. I want to find out, in your journey from South Africa to Zimbabwe, and we also know that there was also a journey by Rutendo from South Africa to Zimbabwe. Did you in any way assist Rutendo in coming to Zimbabwe? And if so, was it only you that assisted him, or there are other individuals that assisted him to move from South Africa to Zimbabwe? How would you respond to that, Bishop Maponda?
Rutendo is a Zimbabwean, fully Zimbabwean. And I don't think anyone from Zimbabwe needs assistance from anyone to come back home and do what his passion demanded him to do. When we found a common line of convergence, he was already in an advanced stage of doing other things. And I also thought that hooking up with him to combine our efforts towards the Pan-African ideologies will be quite useful. So I cannot claim that I brought him here. He's a Zimbabwean. He already belongs here. But the meeting of minds and the meeting of agendas and itineraries got us meeting here. Though the conversation of us at one time or the other should go and return home and do something for our country, we had spoken about that in our initial meeting in South Africa. But when a man does not want to go, there's nothing he can do. But a man wants to go, you can always move with where the wind is going. And I could say from that angle, I did not need to assist him except to add wind on the decisions that he had already made himself.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bishop Maponda. Bishop Joshua Maponda, in terms of politics in Zimbabwe, are you at any level involved in in the politics of our country, Zimbabwe. What is it that you can share with our audience in terms of your political orientation? Are you involved with any political movement, any political allegiances in our country, Zimbabwe?
I will answer this once and for all, and I hope it won't come up again in any other interview. I've told you people for the longest of time, I don't believe in democracy in all means possible. And the more I say it, the louder people want me to make a decision about politics. However, I am not naive to the fact that politically we live in an environment that is religious people, that is cultural people, that is academicians and the industry. My passion is not politics. My passion is the restoration of indigenous knowledge systems that they can be cooperated into the political system. If my interaction with politics makes me a politician, in me starting to ask, can we have organic birth centers? Can we fully incorporate indigenous medicines? Can we begin to appreciate our architectures? Can we also upgrade our fashions? I've traveled the width and breadth of this world, and one of the biggest things I do when I travel is to buy crafts, it is to buy fashion. It's amazing that in Zimbabwe, we have baobab tree bark, which can make mats, which can make clothes. The other day I put on a mat and people thought I'd lost my marbles. But I was not putting on a mat because I put on a mat and I'm crazy. I'm just saying, here's the technology. Why can't we take this baobab sap on baobab fiber and make it into clothes? And even my experiences in the forest showed me that there is much more. The Uganda people have their bark cloth, they have the mud cloth out there, kente cloth in Ghana, pineapple cloth in Philippines, marijuana cloth in Jamaica. Is our technology so backward that our educated community cannot begin to harvest some of these technologies and bring them to the fore? The political engagement must not be construed or misconstrued in the light of ruling party, opposition party. I speak to people who are in positions of power to advance my indigenous agenda, which I'm passionate about. And I would rather talk about the things I believe than talk about ideologies of people who believe what they believe for the reasons that they do. I thank you.
Yeah. Yes, thank you very much, Bishop Joshua Maponga. The reason why I'm asking you with regards to political orientations and things like that is because we are having an extraordinary discussion currently in Zimbabwe with regards to to the Amendment Bill number 3, which some people also regard as a 2030 agenda. And in that vein, everybody, seems to now be forced to pick a side in terms of whether somebody is in the opposition side or somebody is in the side of supporting the Amendment Bill number 3. One of the things that captivated our minds recently, Bishop Maponga, were certain allegations from certain circles about the opposition political leader, Advocate Nelson Chamisa. There were other individuals who are accusing him of having received over 20 million US dollars from ZANU-PF in order to keep him quiet, in order to make sure that he does not disturb the Amendment Bill number 3. I want to find out from you, when you hear these stories as a Zimbabwean, I do know that you said you don't believe in democracy, but we are in a democracy. We ushered it in 1980, and our constitution of 2013 affirms that, the fact that we are in a constitutional democracy. Now, I want to find out, does it come to you, to your mind, in terms of, it is actually true that Nelson Chamisa, can be bought for 20 million US dollars to silence him? Because we hear all around that Bishop Maponga, but I don't want you to answer this one, but I'm just mentioning it, that Bishop Maponga got 10%, Temba Mliswa got 10% as well from Billy Rottenbeck. We hear that this other minister got 10%. It is all 10%. I don't know why not 15% and 20%. But I want to find out, how easy is it? How easy is it, Bishop Maponga, to believe that somebody can be bought for 20 million in Zimbabwe to silence them from competing in a democratic dispensation, which is wrote in our 2013 constitution or in our constitution. How easy can that be? I mean, from your understanding of our society?
My focus is sharing knowledge. My focus is sharing wisdom. My focus is sharing indigenous ethics, accountability, and responsibilities, the ancient ways of governance, where some of these democratic loopholes can actually be stopped. As such, a platform such as yours, which is known for facts, which is known for research, with able minds that we have, it's amazing how much we gobble and we eat the 10% across the board. You rightfully put it, everybody's 10%. Even you right now, you also receive 10%. The question is 10% of what? Who can just say 10% and thumbsuck a figure? And I think sometimes, as particularly Zimbabweans, we tend to have some political lethargy of some sort, where we are now tired of one system, and therefore every other rumor that makes us feel better becomes edible. It only feels bad and terrible when that rumor leaches up on you and someone labels you as such. I have not received 10% of nothing from nobody. I thank you.
Yeah, because Bishop Maponga, you see, we are told by others that Nelson Chamisa is a bad apple. We are told that Bishop Maponga is a bad apple. We are told that President E.D. Mnangagwa is a bad apple. We are told that Kuda Tagire is a bad apple. We are told that Temba Mliswa is a bad apple. We are told that Bishop Nehemiah Mtendi is bad. Now, I just want to find out, when you hear all these, who then in our country is then circumcised, so to speak? If every other individual is uncircumcised, so who then is circumcised? What is the standard that can make us now say we need a leader like this? Do you have such a standard?
I think maybe the person who is writing and saying that, I mean, I'm coming from the religious perspective, where at one time I had a tiffy with one of our famous preachers in the country here, who said this preacher is bad, the other one is bad, I can't mention names, this one is bad, and he went on a list of all of them. And me being a religious person, of course, I decided to take him on and say, hey, Buddy, something is not right here. Your narrative is skewed. You seem to be suffering from a disease which we call the Elijah syndrome. I'm the only one left. You can't say that. You're the only one that is left. Even the Bible says, but behind you there are 7,000 that have not even knelt to Baal. So this whole mindset of everyone is bad is corrosive in its very nature. As an old man, I would say, a group of guys who were working in the mines, I got this story in the mines hot as hell, somewhere in South Africa there. They were going to buy some apples, so they came home, beat the first apple at night. Then they found that it had worms. Oh, they spit it out and then threw it away, then picked another apple again, beat it up again, the other one, picked the other one, it was rotten. The other one picked up the other one. 4 apples later, the bag was almost getting finished. One of them was very intelligent amongst them, says, gentlemen, we are going to starve. Let's just switch off the lights and let's eat the apples. So the problem is not the apples.
Wow. That is a nice one, Bishop Joshua Maponga.
So we cannot argue the quality of the apples. We can only see the quality of the apples with the quality of the light that we have. So the question is, show us the good apples that you have. If you have them hidden somewhere, please bring them on and let's start from there. But I know every country deserves its leader. What we produce is what we consume. We send these children right now in primary school, in high school, in college, university. We train them, we educate them, we tell them what they must become when they grow up. Why are you disappointed when these children become what you told them to be? Until we begin to breed a new breed of young people, breed a new growth of mind, respect of culture and ethics and morality, Ubuntu, living together. I am because we are. I am my brother's keeper. It takes a village to bring up a child. It takes a nation. I'm a family. From family, it's community. Community, it's other tribes, other clans, and etc. That's what a country is made out of. And while we are trying to come together, others are busy fragmenting and trying to cut this piece of cake into unrecognizable pieces. So the whole concept of everyone is rotten, it becomes a tired song. It's a very, very tired old song. Do it or not, better you have someone who dies fighting than the one who dies with scars on their backs.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much. Bishop Joshua Maponga. Ladies and gentlemen, we continue with our conversation. Thank you for joining me, Hulu at Pachiso Live. I'm with Rudolph Robo as usual, the hot seat empire bus driver. He's going to be very disciplined. On the co-host position. Bus driver, I just want to find out from you. I hope you did not, block anybody. I hope so, bus driver, because I need to make sure that everybody is able to attend. Bus driver, because we need discipline. Many people sending me messages and not very happy about bus driver being a co-host today. So if anybody is blocked, please let me know, bus driver. We don't need to be blocking people. We need everybody to be on board, and I expect you to be extremely very disciplined and follow instructions. Thank you very much. So, Bishop Joshua Maponga, you met with the president of Zimbabwe, President E.D. Mnangagwa. And would you want to put the Zimbabweans into your confidence in terms of what your discussions were on, and your opinion of the president currently, and the advice that you can probably bring to his ears today, to the audience, through this audience? What is it that you discussed with the president, and what advice do you think you can provide to the president in the context today of the discussions we are having of the amendment bill and 2030 debate?
Well, very, very interesting. I found the president to be very friendly, very kind and cordial. We ate groundnuts together. We ate mutakura and some mazoe. We sat there and spoke for hours. I was excited to come back home. I'd never received such a welcome in my life. And of course, bearing in mind I'd already hit my own problems with the opposition parties a bit earlier on, who had given me a cold shoulder, so to speak, when I was trying to say, can we have a political conversation? And it went south. But my mind was made up to come here, and I decided, let me talk to the people in power. Again, a ship goes on board right into the sea, and then people notice that the ship is going the wrong direction. Then I came up with a few solutions. The solution number one, let us all jump out of the ship after 25 years of traveling or 30 years of traveling, and let us swim back to the shore and start afresh. I'm an old man now. I said, that's too risky. I don't have enough energy to swim for 25 years going back to start something new. Though that idea had crossed my mind at one time on Zimbabwe Indigenous Movement, which I had registered here as a political party, but I put it on shelf. Then option number two, let us all start shouting in the ship here, so that the one who's driving it can see that we are not happy with what he's doing, and he can maybe lock the door, thinking that we are protesting. But then I thought of method number three, which says, let us kill the captain, and then we can drive. That one is a good option, but let's just make sure that when we kill the captain, someone knows how to read the compass. We might end up heading in far much more problems than we started. But the last option for me, number four, was that can we all gather together, and we can go and approach the captain, and then show him what we have found out, and see if perchance he can be able to buy our story, so that we can begin to champion this ship into the right direction. I opted for option number four. My method seems to have worked for me, both at a personal level, because then I did not need always to be checking my back. And I'm saying so very, very knowledgeably aware of the critical environment we were coming in from the previous regime. And having done that, then I gathered my strength to begin to talk to the systems of power. My advice and my one word to the president of the country of Zimbabwe, 16 million people have said yes. And this is where it confuses me with democracy. When people decide, people are not happy. When people are not consulted, people are not happy. When people are consulted, people don't turn up. When people turn up and their voices are not heard, then people are disgruntled. If democracy means that the majority rules, even the president has no right. If people say we want you to rule, they did that in China. They've been there for the past 30, 20 years. They've done that in Singapore. They've done that in Dubai, United Emirates, in Bahrain, in Russia, You can go around the world, do your research. More than 13, 15 countries have done the same extent. There's nothing peculiar about Zimbabwe revisiting that. My 2 cents worth, if the people have chosen, and who am I to oppose? If the people have chosen, who is the president to oppose? But here's the catchy part. As I don't believe in democracy, I actually am excited that bill number 3 went through. Because for me, it begins to tell me that don't only talk about bill number 3. I want to know what is on bill number 1. I want to know bill number 2. I want number 5, number 6, number 7, so that we can actually begin to identify where our medicine is lacking, where our education is lacking, where is our governance system is in terms of our corruption and other issues. Our constitution will protect even the criminals. So the transformation, the changing of the constitution is very healthy. But my advice, Honorable President, don't just show us number 3. Show us from number 1, I don't know up to number what, so that we can deliberately, while we are at it, begin to toothpick the issues of land, basing them on the constitution. Because then it moves over to the other question the young man was asking me about a white guy who is ready to rule and run Zimbabwe. Because and I put vehemently my ideas right there. And little did he know, I'm speaking from the knowledge that when you have a constitution that gives those that have oppressed you to become part of you, then they'll still rule after you, and they still rule you again. And I'm saying that constitution, there's something fundamentally wrong with that. Because when you visit other progressive countries, that's a non-starter. But in Zimbabwe here, sunshine, peanut butter, and oros, people do as they please. I personally, my own personal thing, less the human rights slogans that people want to lash out around. You cannot allow someone who does not know the history and the culture of this land to rule this land. And my advice therefore is, Honorable President, don't stop with number 3. While the iron is still hot, let's hit number 1, let's hit number 2, let's hit number 3, until we can turn the curriculum of our universities upside down, until we can address the real people who are dispossessed in terms of land, until we can begin to address the issues of marriage and divorce according to our own African culture. Indigenous medicine, the list goes on. We can remove our children from Western uniforms, which they all put on those funny little khaki shorts, which make them look like British little princesses and queens, and begin to look at what Burkina Faso has done. Look at what Ghana has done. These things can be changed. And the Constitution, as far as I'm concerned, my own view, we have a right to change it, to suit our own environment. The bill number 3, have your entertainment on it. Those who are angry with it, you have already lost the vote. 16 people are inside. But please, go read before number 3. Read after number 3. And I think that's objective. I thank you.
Yeah, and I mean, to my audience, I want you to know that we will shortly be allowing the public to engage with Bishop Joshua Maponga on his submission. But before we do that, the last thing that Bishop Maponga is going to be addressing will obviously be the allegations, that have been leveled against him by the leader of the Zimbabwe anti-sanctions movement, Rutendo Matinar. Bishop Maponga will be responding to some of the things that, the leader of the Zimbabwe anti-sanctions movement, Rutendo Matinar, said about him. That will be the last bit before I allow the general public to come up. So you can stay on the request, guys, and we will be bringing you up shortly so that you can be able to engage with Bishop Joshua Maponga. Right. We are in conversation with Bishop Joshua Maponga. This is about our people. It is about our country. And this is yet another day, another hour we meet to deliberate on important events taking place in Zimbabwe. It is now 5 minutes past 8 p.m. in Harare. Also there in the great city of Bulawayo at 5 minutes past 8. Thank you for joining me, Hulu, at Pachiso Live. Thank you for following me as we continue to organize and deliver to you important information for our country. I'm not alone. Always, as you know, Rudozobo, the Hotseat Empire, is here with me. Today also we have got bus driver homeboy. He is also there, and we'll keep him there as long as he continues to become a good boy and behave himself. All right. Okay. So Bishop Joshua Maponga, let us now go to the billionaire Kuda Tagwirei. There are reports that Zimbabwe today is no longer having challenges when it comes to the issues of petrol and diesel and paraffin. Our fuel situation, it seems like it has become a bit better. There are instances during the time of President Robert Mugabe, that the name Kudata was not so famous among the people. And currently, it appears as Mr. Tagwire has been very vocal when it comes to the political events taking place in our country. He's not alone. We also have, many others, including the role of Wikno Shivayo, the billionaire. He calls himself a billionaire, by the way, or I don't know whether we'll call him a multimillionaire, been going around also giving cars and giving donations to different people. We have got Paul Tungwarara, from Dubai. We have seen Mr. Paul Tungwarara's daughter, flying to South Africa to buy burgers and showing that on social media, and also showing a lot of, wealth. Many others, many other people in the mix. In terms of the trajectory and what we see and what we hear and what we are experiencing currently in Zimbabwe, and in relation or in the context and content of these individuals that I have mentioned, do you have any comment when it comes to these individuals and the wealth that they have? They've acquired. What message can you share with us on? With regards to that?
My experience within the Adventist Church taught me a lot of things. My father was a publishing director in the church. We stayed in Wanki and in Bulawayo and many other places. But I remember very well during some certain years where our white counterparts from America would actually be flying back for fellow into United Kingdom and into the United States of America. They would actually be able to fly their dogs and fly their cats on a holiday and fly with them back. And the money for the ticket for the dog and the cat was equivalent to my father's salary for 6 months. But for the white men, it was okay. Maybe for the first time as Zimbabweans, we are aware of what money can do. All along, we used to ride bicycles and being given watches for 25 years of good service. Money is, and the money is the root of all evil. But let me add to that, and the absence of it also is the root of evil. When Caltex, BP, and other fuel companies left the country, life does not allow for a vacuum. Those who saw opportunities where others saw a crisis, they're talking a different story right now. Because the intention was that when these companies that were supplying us with fuel would leave, their goal as multinational companies and Anglo-American companies was to bring Zimbabwe to its knees and cause the people to have an uprising and then overthrow their government, and they come back with the solution again. We have seen this in the book, The Economic Hitman, and many other articles that have been published out there, that the regime change narrative is not new with us. We have the Lumumbas, we have the Sankaras, we have the Masheros, we have a long list of history from Malcolm X to Martin Luther in diaspora. There's nothing new. My feeling is we need to start thinking, how can we turn our economy and begin to participate, particularly the young people, instead of always looking at the negative side. There are opportunities in mining, opportunities in agriculture, opportunities in manufacturing. I was in China for the industrial Indaba. We now are one of the biggest producers of steel in the southern hemisphere. The question is, why is teaching children how many legs does a grasshopper have? When actually now we must be actually pumping our universities, if possible, put a university next to Manize, so that while the iron ore is being manufactured there, cars, chases, plows, tractors, and other implements for farming, transportation, and technologies can be benefited from. I don't want to specialize in politics, but I want to look more closely into development. That those who have made money, they need to have triple Ps projects where they can begin to invest their money. We don't want just to hear them flying all around the world, but also want to see that money being realized here. And some of you have not hidden my card. I know Strive Masiwa, one of the richest men in the country, but no one calls him H. Gananda, though the contract that he got was from the government. We know the redlands who are in this country who can put all your billionaires in one basket. But no one has ever called Redland Chigananda. We know the other bigger businessmen who are in this country, multiple of them. As long as they are white, they're good. But when they become black, there is something wrong when a black man has money. In conclusion, the Chinese do business with Chinese. The British do business with British. The Americans do business with Americans. Those who can supply arms, weapons, medicines, and etc., they are directly linked to the government themselves. The authentic, organic people in the country do business with their own countries. I don't know what's wrong with Zimbabwe. We don't trust each other when it comes to money. And with that kind of an attitude, even you, Hulu, the day you have money, you must know that you're an enemy of the people. I think we are blaming it on religion. That says money is mammon. And for that reason, people don't have a good relationship with money. But we have an opportunity of development, joining our hands together. And if you look at the election bill for the Southern Hemisphere and Central Africa coming down this way, I did the research the other day, $120 billion spent on campaigns and elections. And you know how much it costed Ethiopia to build that dam? 800 million, which can supply electricity all of Ethiopia, Egypt, Tunisia, and etc. And while we are spending money trying to nest this donkey called democracy, development is going on elsewhere. And as long as we are always in PC campaign disorder, we are going to achieve very little. I thank you.
Right. Thank you very much, Bishop Joshua Maponga. From now on, we are going to be asking you very pointed questions, because we are also now, I've also now decided that it is time to bring up fellow Zimbabweans and fellow people in the audience to be able to engage with you. Bishop Joshua Maponga, the last bit now is, of course, to address directly the issues raised by Rutendo Matinar, the leader of the Zimbabwe anti-sanctions movement. You have accepted that at an appropriate time he can have a right of response, and we have followed up on that. So today it is just going to be other Zimbabweans engaging with you. Right. In terms of some of the things that he raised, I do know there are so many people who send me messages and saying they are very much concerned about the statements that are being made by Rutendo himself, especially considering the fact that Rutendo apparently, I mean, from some of the messages that some people were sending to me, he was very critical of the president, very critical of Kudata Gure, very critical of you, and very critical of many other individuals. And there are people who said, why is it that it appears as if Rutendo is simply criticizing everybody? Another message that came through to me was the issue of, Chamisa himself. Apparently, somebody said there is information that, there was a meeting and all that, including a meeting to assassinate Rutendo himself, like a real assassination of Rutendo, and which you are aware of yourself. Can you directly now, I know you have read some of the things that Rutendo wrote, and you have actually responded before today to some of the things. Are you able to address Rutendo directly? And at an appropriate time, we will give him an opportunity to respond. Please, Bishop, Changamire Maponga. Let me, from now on, I'm going to learn not to call you Bishop anymore. Right, Changamire Maponga, can you please help us by directly responding to the issues raised by the leader of the Zimbabwe anti-sanctions movement, Rutendo Benson Matinar? Please go ahead.